If you create master items by using up or building other inventory items together, these master items can be assembled according to configuration of bills of material. To open Item Assembly Transaction Entry, either click the Assemblies button on the toolbar, or from the Transactions menu and the Item Assembly submenu, select Assemble Master Items. This screen has a list of all assemblies that have been entered or imported and have not yet been posted. This grid supports filters to display only those assemblies that meet defined criteria, or assign color to rows such as by date or location, or other methods. When you want to locate a specific assembly and this list is long, a Find button allows typing in the number or using a Smart Finder search to get it. If you want to create a new assembly that is like one already listed, the Copy button will start a new transaction with all information carried over, which can be edited prior to saving and posting. If you select one or more consecutive assemblies on the grid, a Listing button is available to print a report with relevant transaction information. To view an assembly without making changes, you may click the View button to open the screen in inquiry mode, or instead use the Inquiries menu to open the entire assemblies list as view only, or click the Edit button to make changes to an assembly, or click the New button to start a new assembly. Many of these buttons are controlled by security to allow access to some users but not others. And when an assembly is edited, no other user can edit or post it at the same time. Each item assembly entry has information at the top, general to the transaction. There is a reference value, which must be unique and can be automatically generated using a predefined reference format in the company profile. The location is used as a default for new item details. If you want to be warned for every component item that doesn't have enough quantity on hand to build the assembly quantity, enable this option for display. Otherwise, a single general message that not enough stock exists to do the build. Transaction optional fields defined in the company profile appear here for use. And if Adagio Doc Store is integrated, you may attach and view PDFs directly on the transaction. At the bottom of the entry screen is a grid where you enter or adjust item details. When adding a new item, either type in or select the item number. Also choose the bill of material code to identify which component items will be used. If the master and component items will be used at a different location than the default, it can be changed here. Enter the quantity of master items to be assembled, which will always be in the unit of measure defined on the bill of material and cannot be changed. An optional reason code or description may be entered if you want to include a comment for the purpose of the transaction. Access item inquiry with or without sales and costs, depending on security group setup, to view information about the selected item during transaction entry. Costs for component items, additional, and prorated costs from the bill of material are displayed to indicate the master item build cost. Click OK to save the detail, and continue adding more details as needed, with the User Preference option to auto-add detail enabled, to bring up the new detail screen until you are finished with entry. When entry is finished, click the OK button to save the transaction. The assembly is not immediately posted to change the item quantity and cost, but instead is saved to allow for validation and confirmation, perhaps from the listing report. When these transactions are ready to be committed to inventory, select one or more assemblies from the grid and click the Post button, which when confirmed will update item quantity and costs, write records to inventory history and general ledger transactions, and generate entries for the item assembly audit list report that can be printed by posting sequence number. If you use the Adagio Bill of Materials add-on, this provides some additional features to assembly entry. Bills of material can be defined with specific locations on each component item, and the assembly process can be set to read these component locations. Alternatively, you can choose to use all component items from one location and build the master items to a different location. And you can also unassemble master items with a negative quantity value entered and an optional additional cost related to the unbuild if required. Easily create item kits or goods from raw materials with master item assembly. Find out more about Adagio from the product page on our website. Watch another training video on this Adagio program from the playlist, or subscribe to the Adagio YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.